Whoa. What's going on?
Yay! We're live and we're early.
Is it Lloyd?
We're just a little
Is
bit
Lloyd
early.
crying?
Hi, Charles.
Hmm.
What's up,
Hi,
baby?
Lloyd.
You know how they
I
say,
was thinking about you.
you know how they always say that absence makes the heart grow stronger?
Oh,
That's how I
yeah.
feel. Because I have been absent from you since Saturday, Charles.
I've been real sad. I have a pillow with your face that I sleep with, so that helps a little bit.
Okay, I don't know what to say about that.
You don't say nothing. You just enjoy it.
You gotta love it.
Gotta feel it.
Let's say hello
What's
to
up?
some people since we are on a little bit early.
What do
We've
we got?
got we got Josette Taylor.
Right,
Howdy.
Josette.
Yes, this thing is on.
It's
Travis
on.
Travis Brown has joined us.
Downtown Travis Brown. Mm-mm-mm.
Downtown Brown.
Downtown Brown.
Michelle is here with us.
Michelle.
I'm, I'm giving you stuff to think up. You got to think up stuff.
All right.
T West is with us.
T
What's
West
up?
knows how to get it. He don't go east, he goes west because he's T West.
T West.
T West.
No, that's she. It's a she.
G West.
She West. Stephen Bird is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Stephen.
Stephen Burt make your butt hurt. That's what I always say.
Then we got Meredith is here.
Oh, Meredith's just Meredith. I love Meredith.
Who else we got, Charles?
Man, we got Cassius on.
Sweet.
I don't know who else though.
You can't see nobody else.
I can't see nothing except for comments. I don't know. I just work here. It's my first day. All right, I wasn't properly trained.
There's David Dugas. What's up, David?
David.
Thank you, guys.
David.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. It's always good to see everybody.
Thanks, everybody. We love everybody here.
Oh, look at this. Skidoo 99. Nice El Diablo shirts.
That was a collaborative effort.
We collaborated.
We collaborated. Boys. We're big. We big boys. We put on our own underwear and we made our own design. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. And you can go and grab your own El Diablo shirt. We'll go ahead and plug that now.
El Diablo available now, along with El Diablo miscellaneous items.
Exactly. So here we are, man. We're at 1986, and
oh Lord,
Charles, you have put together one fabulous show for us today.
86 was hard. There was a lot of good stuff in 86. This is a good contender for a great year. Hard year. There was like 70 movies released in 1986. That's no joke.
A lot. And whoa, who's the El Diablo is here. Howdy, El Diablo.
That? Why is El Diablo already here? What's going on?
Early. So El Diablo, how do you feel about having your face on your very own T-shirt?
El Diablo loves it.
Look at that. A nod of approval.
That's nice.
Thank you for joining us. We do have El Diablo emotes on Twitch. You can use those and spam us with those. Spam us. I hope you
spam
do.
Spam us. Oh, El Diablo, not again. El Diablo really loves the music.
It calms down the beast.
The power of Christ compels you.
Okay, good job.
I did that one with my sphincter. Felt good.
Well, let's jump right into it because, like you said, 1986.
Big year.
I was surprised. I never really thought 1986 would have a lot of great films.
You know,
I am
this is
wrong.
the best year since back in 81. I think this is the best year we've seen since back in 81. There's a lot going on in 86.
A lot of cool stuff. So I'll go ahead and kick it off with
what you got?
February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1986.
Oh, it's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's with an M Day. Directed by Ted Niccolo. TerrorVision, starring Diane Franklin, Garrett Graham, and Mary Warrenoff.
TerrorVision.
TerrorVision.
Ooh,
Two previous guests
TerrorVision.
at Texas Frightmare Weekend, Diane Franklin and Garrett Graham, both were guests previously at Frightmare.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I like TerrorVision. It's like a super hysterically bizarre B flick. It really is. It's almost like a John Waters horror movie. That's kind of what it feels like. It's so weird. It's so out there, you know?
Yeah, and it was released by Empire Pictures, which is our buddy Charles Band's deal. So I think he released. I don't know if it was Scream Factory or what. They released that, I believe, and then he put it in a box set where you could get all the Empire films in one big box set. So we've got a trailer. You want me to go and play it?
Man, let's play it.
All right, here we go.
Drop.
Intellectual decay! Turn it off and rot your brains out!
The Pottermans are just a typical American family. The only thing they're missing is a pet. But have we got a surprise for them? You see, Stanley Potterman's new satellite TV has just gone on the blink. And it's drawn in a creature from outer space. Like all new pets, this one's causing a little trouble around the house. And he's eating the Pottermans out of house and home. In fact, it seems like this creature will eat anything. Well, just about anything.
You looked right at my studs and cooled out. This dude's into metal!
Now, it's up to the kids to break the creature of its bad habits.
I said shut up!
But he's not responding well to discipline.
Earth children, please. I mean you no harm. I am Pluthar, here to save you.
The Pottermans finally got themselves a pet, but they never even had a chance to give it a name. TerrorVision from Empire Pictures.
This dude's into
Man.
metal.
This dude's into metal. Yeah.
Yeah, with my Wasp shirt on, man.
Wasp, man. Wasp. It's such a weird movie. The score was done by Richard Band because, of course, it's a Charles Band movie. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a goofy movie, but give it a watch. I think it's a good flick for '86. It really sums up. It's a lot of fun. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well,
dude's into metal though.
it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I do have that Empire box set, so I need to pull that out and check it out again.
You know, it's not for everybody. We'll say that. It does currently hold a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, so don't let that deter you.
Well, there you go.
If anything, that's a good thing for this movie. Let's just say that. All right.
Yeah. Hey, it's a fun movie, so yeah, I would check it out, definitely.
It's not meant to be a good movie. It's like one of those movies that are meant to be bad, and it really is. It's perfect.
Yeah.
All
Next up,
right.
you got a really cool one.
What's that one, Lloyd? I know this one.
You do.
Have you ever seen this movie before, Lloyd?
I have seen it. I think a lot of people have seen this. I think this one is something that tons of people have had to have seen this movie. If not, I recommend running out and getting it right away.
Seriously. So February 21st, 86, we've got The Hitcher. Uh-oh. The Hitcher. What a fun movie The Hitcher is. I mean, if you guys don't know The Hitcher, essentially Rutger Hauer plays a hitchhiker who stalks C. Thomas Howell throughout the entire movie. Ponyboy Curtis himself.
Is this a British quad, Charles?
That is a British quad. You know, I love my British quads.
I know you do. Yeah, I've never seen this poster before.
Super rare poster. Super rare.
I love this movie. It's always been a favorite. I love Rutger Hauer. And I really like C. Thomas Howell a lot. Speaking of C. Thomas Howell, I got on the Hoopla app. If you've never heard of Hoopla, it's a library app, and they have a lot of movies on there you can watch. And I watched Soul Man the other night with C.
Soul
Thomas
Man.
Howell. Do you remember Soul Man?
I remember Soul Man. It was like 86, wasn't it?
It might have been, but you made me think of that with C. Thomas Howell. I was just flipping through the library app, and nobody else. I mean, you can rent this, but the library app, it was free. So I was like, I haven't seen Soul Man since it first came out.
If you guys don't know Soul Man, that is a super politically incorrect movie where C. Thomas Howell is in blackface. Let's just say that.
Totally incorrect, politically incorrect, and all kinds of incorrect.
Yeah.
They do make fun of white people quite a bit in this movie, though.
Well, so do I. I make fun of white people a lot. So there's that. Soul Man was also directed by Steve Miner. So there you go.
Yes, I think that's what got me on it, because we were talking about Steve Miner the other day, and I was scrolling through the app, like I said, and I saw it there. I was like, okay, I haven't seen this in forever. I'm going to watch it.
Thank you to Richard. Richard gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you, Richard. We love your support.
Thank you,
We
Richard.
love your support.
Wow, that's awesome.
You want to see something cool, Lloyd? If you like the Hitcher, I've got an original screenplay to the Hitcher.
What? Where'd you get that?
I bought it at auction.
And that's an
Original.
actual used screen. It's not a photocopy or anything.
No, it's a real one. Parts in here, the other parts here, and the front of it's funny because the front of it actually has the final staff and crew list. If you ever want people's phone numbers and addresses who were in the Hitcher. There you go.
There you go. Look at that.
So
I doubt any of those numbers still work, but okay.
Probably not, but if you want to call, let's take this out and see. If you want to call, oh my God, got a whole crap load of them. All right, let's call the director at 213-931-5666. This is dated 1985.
Wow.
It has Rutger Hauer's address in it. And for some reason, it's got C. Thomas Howell, and then there's a question mark next to his name, and then somebody wrote Pony Boy.
You wrote that.
Yeah. No, it's like a pen. It says Red Dawn Outsiders / Pony Boy.
Huh. You know,
I don't know.
He's from somewhere down south. And I'm going to look it up real quick, but when I first met him at the show, he had a slight Southern accent. And I thought he was like giving me a hard time. You know, I was like, oh, he thinks my accent's funny, so he's going to do one. It says he was born in Van Nuys, Los Angeles, but I thought he grew up somewhere else. I don't know. But he does. He's got kind of a Southern accent. It's very strange.
You want something else about so I have the original script?
Yeah.
I bought it at auction. Nobody else bid on it, and I got it for $13.
Holy smokes. See, that's cool.
Yeah. I hunt down auctions for weird horror stuff from the 80s, so.
You know, I just noticed that Richard Nettleson had a question on his donation or his tip. Is Texas Frightmare Weekend, Frightmare HQ on Slasher? Yes, we are on the Slasher app. We certainly are. Look us up. That's a pretty cool app. It's like Facebook for horror fans. And it's a social networking platform, of course, but it's a cool app. And the guy that runs it is very visible and available. You can message him and he'll answer your questions. It's a pretty cool app. So, yeah, I recommend that app.
Thanks again to Richard for Richard's support.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you, Richard. But, yeah, I mean, Hitcher's fantastic. I love it. It's a twisted movie. Ruger's performance as John Ryder makes the movie. It's just, Howard was always such an underrated actor, and I wish I could have met him. Really was on my list to meet.
Me too. I tried so hard for several years, and he was either too busy or had something else going on or whatever, but he was definitely down to do shows. It was just at one point he would seem like he was making a movie every other week.
Yeah.
He was always busy.
All right. What's next, Lloyd?
Next up, February 28th, 1986. This is a Frightmare watch party favorite. Directed by Steve Miner. House. With William Catt. Yeah, William Catt, George Wendt, Richard Mall. We got some notes here. Released by Arrow Video in 2017. Often incorrectly labeled as a 1985 release due to one advanced screening late December 85. It did come out indeed in 1986.
Yeah, and I think even if you go to IMDb, it says like 1985, and I think I submitted it like 3 times and corrected, and they keep rejecting me. I'm like, listen, you some bitches, I know what it came out. I know all about House.
Charlie knows his shit.
I know all about House. Yeah, this is Arrow Video art. Arrow Video brought out a great Blu-ray and box set of this a couple years back. Yeah, really fantastic flick. I always been a fan of House. It's a fun ride. It's a great mixture of horror and comedy. It's one of my favorites from when I was young. The score is actually really good. It's Manfredini, so of course it sounds like Friday the 13th, like every one of his scores, but it fits really well in that movie.
Yeah. House, I agree with you. It's one of my all-time favorites, actually. I just think it's super well done. The comedy is very well done, which is kind of rare for a horror movie to succeed and without seeming cheesy and corny. The comedy just comes off perfectly in House. Yeah,
it does. George Wendt's great in it. The whole cast is really great. William Catt's great. The third time we've seen Steve Miner on this series. He previously did Friday the 13th 2 and 3, as well as Soul Man, like Lloyd just mentioned. So
yeah,
there's that.
You got to run out and see Soul Man. Get the hoopla out.
Soul Man, guys. Soul Man. We can jump up. What's next? Another one of our watch party favorites. I'm telling you guys, 86 was a good year.
Yes, sir.
And let me tell you guys something too. I figured out about 86 is like almost every one of the movies on this list is like impossible to find. it's a strange year. They're all like impossible to find on like Blu-ray, and they're really expensive. It's interesting.
Huh.
March 21st, 86. Shopping Mall.
Boom.
That shopping mall. This is what you would have saw in the newspaper, and you would have said, "Oh my God, where shopping costs you an arm and a leg. I gotta go see Shopping Mall, the Allen Park Cinema at 725. Jesus."
AKA Killbots.
Killbots, the original name.
Everybody knows Shopping Mall. We love Shopping Mall here. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Shopping Mall was released under Killbots, like Lloyd's saying. Nobody liked that title, so they renamed it and released it again, and everybody went and saw it. So I guess it was even though it's kind of deceiving, between the poster and the name sounds like a slasher movie, but it's about robots. Yeah. It's about robots terrorizing people in a mall.
Robots
at slasher. Mall. Yeah, robots at the mall.
It's good stuff. Everybody loves that movie, and everybody that watches our show knows about it. So I'm not sure what else we can say. Directed by Jim Wynorski, starring Kelly Maroney, Barbara Crampton, Tony O'Dell, Russell Todd. Great movie.
Really, really, really great movie. And I know director Jim Wynorski went on to direct a bunch of softcore porn under the fake name Harold Blueberry. So if you're interested and you want to see House on Hooter Hill, The Witches of Brestwick 1 and 2, Busty Cops 1 and 2, as well as Alabama Jones and the Busty Crusade, he made those under the name Harold Blueberry, not Strawberry, not Raspberry, Blueberry.
Wonder why? No, I really don't wonder why.
I'm going to start going by Charles Blueberry. That's my new name. Carlos Blueberry.
I mean, everybody knows most of his films are TNA films, so you don't have to change your name, Jim Wynorski.
And what's funny, he brought out softcore porn under like 5 different names. Like they catch on him and be like, "I'm changing it. They're never gonna get me."
I'll be Harry Strawberry.
Harry Strawberry. Did we get another tip from Richard? Jeez, Richard, we love you. Why is Richard so nice to us?
What? A tip for El Diablo. He got his own T-shirt. Boom. Hashtag T-Mail Diablo.
Come on, guys, don't let Richard show you up. Show you support.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget.
Are highlighted on YouTube too, so it puts your stuff up there and highlights you. Don't forget Dick Miller. Can't forget Dick Miller.
Basically reprising his same role from the 50s. So
yeah.
Walter Paisley, right? Was it Paisley?
Yep, Walter Paisley. All right.
What do you got, Lloyd?
I think I am next. March 27th, 1986, directed by Fred Walton, is the slasher flick April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
Deborah Foreman, Amy Steele, and Ken Oland. Fred Walton also directed 1979's When a Stranger Calls.
Yeah. April Fool's Day is a fun little, it's almost like a mystery horror film. It really holds up well, though. It's still pretty good. I mean, it's got some good twists. It's a good story. Mm-hmm. The ending's a lot of fun. It's real clever. I always like April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I like April Fool's Day, too. I mean, I don't remember liking it a lot when it first came out, but it has grown on me over the years, so.
I think it grew on a lot of people. I don't think it did too well when it came out, but it really developed sort of a cult following as it went through, you know?
Yeah. It's good. I think they were playing this on the MGM channel before I lost it on my network or on my subscription.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of became a staple through the 90s on like late night TV because there's not a whole lot of violence in the movie, so it made it real easy to market on TV. Mm-hmm. So you'd see it a lot on TV through that time. It'd be a lot of midnight or 10 p.m. movies that would come on a lot. So it really, caught a little crowd that way. So I always enjoyed it. And Amy Steele's always great.
Yeah, I love Amy Steele. That's somebody we've never had at a show, and we need to fix that.
You do need to fix that, man. We need to fix it. Amy Steele would be great.
Here's the poster. Kind of a cool noose ponytail thing going on. It was a cool poster.
A little bit of a ponytail. I wish you had a ponytail like that, Lloyd. I could pull.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Cut above the rest.
Cut above the rest.
Cut above the rest.
You're right, it's a mystery film, but it also is a slasher flick, at its core. But it's a decent little flick.
And Travis Brown said Biff Tannen's in the movie. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Thomas F. Wilson plays Arch in that movie. So even though you can't watch him in anything and not think it's Biff, so that's pretty much ruined his career. So stop it, Biff. Stop it.
What did he always say? Marty, what did he say in Back to the Future?
A lot of things.
Well, when he knocked on his head, hello, McFly.
Hello. Anybody home? Think, McFly, think. I gotta have time to recopy it. You know what happens if I turn my homework in your handwriting? I get kicked out of school.
Oh boy. See,
you wouldn't let that happen now, would you? Would you?
A little insight into Charles. Charles is a major Back to the Future fan. And I agree. I love Back to the Future.
I do too. I mean, I've got Michael J. Fox's autograph tattooed on me, so that's how much I like.
Meredith Allen says it's from one of the producers of Friday the 13th.
I didn't know that. It must be Frank Mancuso. I think he did a lot of stuff in the 80s. He was big. I think Frank Mancuso did like 2, 3, and 4, maybe something like that. He's a producer though. He really produced him up. He produced him up. He was one of them there producing fellas.
He produced that movie right up the Flickr picture.
Wrote the Flickr picture because he got the money. He made it rain. Mm-hmm.
Made it rain. Well, I'm ready for the next one. This one's exciting for me.
Oh, yeah. You can't get down until April 11th, 86 when we had Critters. Ooh, Critters came out.
Critters.
I got Critters all over me. Critters.
Charlie, I have a little bit of trivia about Critters. And I don't know if you know this.
You have Critters on you?
I don't think we've ever talked about this.
All right.
Critters is somewhat based on the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter. Are you familiar with the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter?
I'm not.
You're
Should I
not?
be?
Well, the Kelly Hopkinsville, if
No.
you're, I've always been kind of into the UFO shows and UFO stories and all that kind of stuff. The Kelly Hopkinsville, and I'm going to read this right from Wikipedia so I get it right.
Wicca.
Um,
Wicca knows
on-
everything.
That's right. On the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the Hopkinsville police station claiming that small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse, and they had been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. So the cops showed up.
Sounds like something that would happen to me.
So it says 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police from nearby U.S. Army Fort Campbell drove to the Sutton farmhouse located near the town of Kelly in Christian County. Their search yielded nothing apart from evidence of gunfire and holes in windows and door screens made by firearms. Residents of the farmhouse, they claimed that there were little creatures with large pointed ears, claw-like hands, eyes that glowed yellow, and spindly legs were attacking the farmhouse. What does that sound like?
Kind of sounds like critters.
So
Or
I
like
think
an airplane without wings. That ain't no airplane. Sorry.
there's a
back to
flying
vision.
saucer,
Oh, it's a flying saucer.
and there's little aliens in there.
They were high on LSD. Those mofos were gone.
Well, the truth about it is the people that lived there. It says the next day, neighbors told 2 officers that the families had packed up and left after claiming the creatures returned about 3:30 the next morning.
Was that you, Lloyd?
That was my relatives.
That
They
was
tell
your
me,
relatives?
"Oh,
Woo,
Lord,
doggy. Get all gone down. Well, that's
I
interesting. I
find
didn't
that
know that.
very interesting, though, Charles, don't you? That
Yeah,
critters
that's crazy. I
is
didn't know
kind of
that.
based on a real occurrence. But I recommend that everybody just look it up on Google sometime and read about it. It's the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter.
I'm
So
gonna have to read more about it.
yeah. So Josette says, so why didn't they just say screw it and leave 3.9 hours earlier?
Because then they would have a story to tell, guys. Come on.
I don't know if there was ever any of those true UFO type shows done about that encounter, but I would love to see one. But yeah, it does sound like something that was on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah. Well, that's fun tidbit, Lloyd. It makes me love critters even more.
Critters is a fun movie. It was very different for its time. I mean, yeah, it was, I'm sure it came about because of the Gremlins craze and all of that, but and it's a Gremlins type clone, but it's cool that it's actually based on something that was real.
And the director's actually refuted that he based it on Gremlins. He said he wrote the screenplay before Gremlins came out. So there's always been that. He's always said that he always had the ideal before Gremlins. I was like, well, you missed the window. It's based on Gremlins, you son of a bitch. So there you go.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
It's really cool though. I love the movie, and it's very possible that he did write it before that. Just knowing about the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Oh, thanks to T West gave us a super chat. Thank you, T.
Thank you so much,
friend. The best thing about Critters has to be the cast in that movie, which is ridiculous. I mean, We've got Dee Wallace, we got Billy Zane, we got M. Emmett Walsh, we got Scott Grimes, Billy Greenbush. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then the second one, Critters 2, who did that have in it? Do you remember?
Main course had Leonardo DiCaprio, didn't it?
Was it 2 or
No,
3?
Leonardo DiCaprio was in the third one, right? 3.
Okay,
I think he was in 3, right?
Yeah.
Lin Shaye was in the second one. Lin Shaye was in the second one.
Barry
know that.
Corbin was in it too, in part 2. Barry was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was at our show. He was in No Country for Old Men and War Games and all kinds of stuff. So
Corbin's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and another guy, Corey Burton, is the guy who voiced the critters, and he actually developed their language and said it was a cross between French and Japanese. I was like, how do you come up with that?
How do you cross those two languages?
And Critters was PG-13, surprisingly. There was 4 sequels. All 3 sequels are PG-13. Well, actually, no, there was 4. There was 4 sequels. But the time span between the 4th sequel and the 5th sequel was like 27 years. But all 4 original sequels were PG-13, which is really weird at the time. It could have easily been R.
Yeah, that new one, Critters Attack, I've heard is pretty terrible.
It's horrible, and they made it R. They just try to make it gory. And it's like, dude, it's been 30 years since Critters. Just come on. Yeah. It's like, come on.
Well, Critters 4 came out in 92.
And the other one came out 2019, so that's 27 years.
Yeah.
The director of that went on to do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and The Mighty Ducks. So he had a full line of career out of them. The Mighty Ducks. Yeah, I mean, Critters is a good movie. Critters had an amazing cast. I mean, even the score was done by David Newman. David Newman, of course, is part of the Newman family, which is like the dynasty of film scores. I mean, they've got 11 people in their family who've been nominated for 100 Oscars. I mean,
yeah,
his brothers Thomas Newman and his cousins Randy Newman. So all they do is make music. They sit around and play, jugs and banjos all the time. We're gonna do another movie. That's what they do as a family.
Did you mention that Terrence Mann is in it also?
Oh, no, I didn't mention it, but yeah, he's in that.
Yeah, he's in it too. So yeah, just a kind of an all-star cast, but good stuff, man.
Yeah, Lin Shaye's in the first one too. I mean, everybody's in that damn movie.
I know.
They just cleaned house with that. They're just like, boom.
Yeah, it's good. I like Critters Alive, and I think they're all fun movies to watch. So
I gave you a trailer for Critters. We can just keep Critters going. Let's critter it.
Let's critter this up.
Let's critter it. I'm gonna dance while you critter it.
Of all the planets in the galaxy, they chose ours. They hide in small places.
This phone is dead.
What?
They light the dark.
Jay, any luck?
Just a minute.
There's nothing cute about them. They've come a long way, and they're hungry. Critters. They bite.
Yo, Mom's got a harpoon thing in her neck. Jesus. What the hell? Critters? They're getting bigger, Lloyd. Get the hell out of here.
Good movie. Good stuff. That's a fun one.
Okay. Well, we can move on to the next one.
Next up,
May
23rd, 1986, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side. This movie had Jo Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, and Heather O'Rourke. You know what? This is another movie that I hated when it first came out because it compared nothing to the original Poltergeist. But it has totally grown on me. The old man in that movie is possibly one of the creepiest characters in any horror movie ever. Yeah. Julian
Beck is terrifying as Reverend Kane. I mean, when he walks up that driveway and he's like, God in his holy temple. That dude is just creepy.
It's totally creepy.
You know, what made him creepy though? What like accumulated what helped his creepy appearances? At the time they were filming that, Julian Beck was dying of stomach cancer. Like he was dying.
Is that
he
what
died? Yeah, he died like right when shooting finished. Like he died. He was dying, like actively dying during that movie. And kind of a funny tidbit is like they had to redub some of his lines. He couldn't do it because he was dead. So they actually had Corey Burton dub his lines, who we just talked about is doing the Critters voices. So he came in and dubbed his lines, and some of them, not all of them, but yeah, he was frail and like white because he was actively like dying. He knew he was dying, and he didn't really tell anybody.
I had no idea about that.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
he's terrifying though. He's terrifying.
He is terrifying. He's one of the scariest things that I've ever seen. Like we already said this, but it bears to say again. Super scary.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the whole thing, there's a whole thing about that series being cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And people talk about it a lot, but I mean, whether you buy into that or not, I don't know, but it's interesting to think about because Heather O'Rourke was sick, and the girl that played the daughter in the first one died. Wasn't she murdered or something?
That's Dominique. Yeah, I mean she was murdered.
Yeah.
We could put that in. Yeah, I mean she was Dominique Dunn. She was murdered. That's a sad, terrible story too. She was strangled in her driveway by her boyfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend admitted to doing it, then later said he didn't do it, even though the cops saw him standing there, and they strangled her. He got like 3 years in jail. That was it. They gave him manslaughter, and he was out. And he ended up changing his name, and he he murdered her. Like, and it's just like, what the hell? Like, yeah.
Lou Perryman was in the first one also, and he was in Chainsaw 2. You know, the guy that built the Fry House. But he was murdered a few years ago too. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if you believe in all of that kind of stuff or not, but you know, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened, you know, in that movie. It's the Poltergeist curse. I mean, there was quite a few cast and crew members who died. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it really is crazy. It's sad stuff too. I mean, Heather O'Rourke died super young. I went to Heather O'Rourke's grave in L.A. She's buried like same grave Marilyn Monroe's buried at. It's just really sad. She was super young.
Yeah, that is sad. Bummer. Boy, we brought the whole show down with that, didn't we?
I always liked this movie. I mean, it was not as good as the first one. We knew it wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
But man, Reverend Kane really made that movie. He is so creepy without like having to rely on like really gore or anything. He's just a normal creepy old man just walking down the street like, "Hey, little girl, I singing. Let me in." No.
Yeah, hell no.
Hell no.
Yeah, and then didn't he walk up to her at the shopping mall too or something, and he's real creepy, and it's just
Are you lost? Are you lost? I saved her. The creepy preacher. Yeah, that's gonna be stuck in my head now. Ugh.
Do we have a trailer? Do we have anything from that movie?
I think we just had the poster.
Oh yeah, here it is.
That was it. Yeah, just the poster. Real simple poster. Kind of played off the first one.
Yep.
I remember it was like yeah. It could have been more of that poster, but I mean, I liked it. I mean, I kind of was a sucker for all the Poltergeist movies. The third one, I know the third one is bad, but I still like it. It's got Tom Skerritt in it, and anything with Tom Skerritt, I'm like, it's good.
Yeah. I remember him being in that movie. I got to go back and watch that one. I rewatched Poltergeist 2 not too long ago, but I haven't got around to 3 yet, but I will. Okay. Next up is one for you, Charles. Go ahead.
Oh, what do we got? Ah, I know this one. All right. So, June 6, 1986, guys, we had Tobe Hooper's Invaders from Mars, a remake of a movie from the 50s.
I like Invaders from Mars, the remake, a lot. I actually like the original, and I like this remake. What a lot of people don't know is Toby didn't want to make Chainsaw 2, but he went back to him and said, look, if you'll let me make a couple of the movies that I want to make, I'll make Chainsaw 2. And Invaders from Mars was one of those movies that he insisted on he wanted to make. And he got his way. You know, I guess that's how bad they wanted Chainsaw 2. But Invaders from Mars had Karen Black, and it had her son playing the little boy.
He lives in Dallas, Hunter.
Uh-huh. Hunter Carson. And
he's a nice guy.
He's a super nice guy. He was at our show when we did it at the Sheraton. Something really cool about Hunter, if you want to see Hunter as a baby, Karen Black hosted Saturday Night Live back in the late 70s, maybe early 80s. And she brings Hunter out to do the monologue and is holding him the whole time.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I really liked it.
I also like Invaders from Mars. It's funny because it's actually rated PG, not even PG-13. It's rated PG. So there's that. I guess, I mean, the screenplay was done by Dan O'Bannon, who, of course, directed Return of the Living Dead, wrote Alien. We talk about him a lot because he seems to pop up every year in something. You know, it's sort of worth it. There's a lot of ridiculous one-liners in it, which are fantastic. I think one of them, he's like, Marines don't carry pocket change, Sergeant. Something like that, just like random. It's like, what the hell's going on? You know, Stan Winston did the effects, and I was never a fan of the effects coming from Stan Winston, to be honest. I felt like it did not feel like a Stan Winston effects. They felt kind of cheesy and cheap, and the fact that Stan Winston did them still, it's kind of bummer. But oh, that's a fun movie. I mean, don't go into expecting an Oscar movie. It's a fun movie, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think probably his budget was cut short, and there really wasn't. I remember there wasn't a big theatrical release for that movie either. So it was probably one of those things they did just so they could get Chainsaw 2 out of him. And they just kind of buried it. But I've always enjoyed it. Always been a fan of it. I recommend watching Invaders from Mars.
Yeah, I recommend watching it too. I don't know if is it streaming anywhere? This is the one I don't think I could find this one. I don't know. A lot of these movies are hard to find this year. It's very weird, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I thought Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray of that.
They did, but I remember it's actually sold out. Like, you can't get it.
Huh.
So
yeah.
This is a weird year because I went through every one of these movies because I was trying to like notate for everybody where they could watch these, and every one of these movies like is either not for sale or it's like $300, or there are few of them are showing on Amazon Prime. That's like it.
Well, speaking of Stan Winston, the next film came out July 18th, 1986. This was a mother of a film. And everybody knows probably what I'm talking about, but it's Aliens, directed by James Cameron.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody's going to say, Aliens isn't a horror movie.
Yeah, it is. Fight me on that.
Yeah, it's definitely. I know you're a big fan of Aliens.
Aliens is... The only way you could sum up Aliens is the word perfection. Everything about Aliens is absolutely perfect. That movie, you name it. Score, writing, cinematography, production design, acting. I don't care. Everything in that movie, it is the definitive sci-fi horror film. That is a great freaking movie. There's nothing wrong with that movie. Ever.
No. I love Aliens too. I know you're a huge fan. I'm a big fan of Aliens. I can't imagine anybody not liking Aliens. Fantastic movie. Definitely a lot of scary about it. I love that, Scorny is kicking ass in this movie again. which she did in the first one too. But it's great. It was great seeing her come back, and what a huge blockbuster of a film, though. This was a mega hit all over the world.
Yeah. And I mean, this has one of my favorite scores of all times by James Horner. You know, James Horner, everybody thinks he was fantastic because he scored Titanic. I don't give a shit about Titanic. He scored Aliens, and Aliens is like one of the best scores ever. Yeah.
It's a great score. There's nothing wrong. I can't think of one thing wrong with Aliens. Nothing.
Yeah. And James Horner was another one. I always wanted to meet James Horner, and he died like 5 years ago in a plane crash, like a single engine plane crash. Another one died in a plane crash. I never got to meet him. Yeah. I always wanted to meet him.
Well, I love everything about Aliens as well. I love when she gets in the big, mechanical thing at the end and kicks the alien's ass. I mean, it's just a fun. It has everything rolled into one. It's sci-fi. It's horror. It's action. It's you've got the little girl sub story and all of that stuff. It's just a great movie. So
yeah, and Newton is fantastic. That little girl is so convincing. You just feel for this poor little girl. She's like, Ripley, I'm scared. I'm like, no, Newt, me too. I'm also scared, Newt. I don't know what to do. Sigourney Weaver was nominated for Best Actress for this movie. The first time a woman was ever nominated for a role in an action film for Best Actress. Sigourney Weaver was fantastic in here. And also where they filmed it was the Acton Lane Power Station in London. It's kind of funny because they also use that same set. So they use it for the alien nest, and they ended up using it as Access Chemicals in Batman '89. So if you watch Access Chemicals and you watch them, they're fighting the aliens, you can match up the scenes because it's the exact same location. It's funny to watch.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Horror and Me. Hey guys, what's up?
Thanks
for joining us tonight. And yes, all is well. We appreciate you asking. Hope everything is well for you too.
Thanks. Hope everything's well with you. Thanks for joining. And we're just sitting here enjoying movies and talking about the fantasticness that is Aliens.
Exactly. So
one of my favorite characters is Jeanette Goldstein in that. She is so awesome. She is so badass in that movie.
She is a bad ass kicker.
I love her. I think I was in love with her as a kid. I don't know why. I was like, something about her just does it for me. Like,
you like that strong woman.
I like that strong woman.
That's what she was to me. I always just remember thinking that she would kick your ass. That woman would kick your ass. So,
and complete opposite of a lot of horror movies. This movie had so many positive female role models in it. I mean, there was women who were stronger than all the guys. They were just badass, and
yep.
As opposed to most horror movies, they'll just run around like, look, my titties fell out of my shirt. What do I do? Do I put them back in or do I take them out more?
Well, then you also had, they were wimps. The men were, you got what's his face? Game over, man. Game over.
Bill Paxton. Well, that's just great.
The women were badasses.
And Bill Paxton ad-libbed a bunch of his lines there. He just threw stuff in. They're like, he's great. He just got into that character.
Yeah. Rick, you're right. Charles is an encyclopedia of movie knowledge. Charles is so fun if you ever get a chance to just sit down and talk movies with him, which is what we're doing tonight. But if you ever get a chance in person, do it.
I love talking movies. But yeah, I mean, Aliens is just great. I mean, everything in that's really, and I love the first Alien. Ridley Scott's one of my favorite directors of all time. Aliens is better. I'll fight people to the death. Aliens is a damn better movie. Yeah, I don't care. Something about that movie. They're different movies though. Aliens a lot more of a scary horror film, but Aliens took it to another level. I mean, really, it just boom. It's like.
Well, I was probably 7, maybe 8 years old when I saw Alien. My cousin worked at the offices, the Fox offices, or 20th Century Fox.
Oh, cool.
In Dallas, but it was like an administrative kind of a job thing, I guess. But they had a private movie theater in that office when that movie came out, and it was 35 millimeter and everything. It didn't have very many seats because it was just for, people that worked there. But she invited us to watch that movie at the office with them. And that was when I saw it. And it blew my mind. But yeah, I agree with you. They're both completely different movies.
I mean, I'd love to see it on 35 millimeter. I've never seen Aliens on 35 millimeter. I don't even know if there's many 35 millimeter prints floating around of Aliens.
Well, this was Alien that I saw.
Oh, Alien.
Yeah,
that's even more cool.
Yeah. And she gave me a poster too, an Alien poster. And, like I said, I was like 7 years old. So that poster got shredded over the years. And I truly regret not having that original Alien poster anymore.
Yeah, the original one's worth quite a bit now.
Yep.
Alien actually is one of the few movies that opened in 70 millimeter. And I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, they sold an original 70 millimeter print of Alien for $29,000 at auction.
I can imagine.
That tells you how much, yeah. And it actually was kind of a steal. I mean, I thought it was going to go for a lot more, but it's a hard print to find.
35 millimeter is expensive anyway, so I can only imagine.
Some of the movies are really expensive. Early presses are crazy expensive.
Yep. All right, so let's move on. August 1st, 1986. Friday the 13th.
We missed one.
Part 6, Jason Lives, directed by Tom McLaughlin.
Wait, Lloyd, you skipped one, Lloyd.
Did I?
Yeah, I got to go now.
We'll get back to that. You go. Go ahead.
We're going to go. We're going to do this one first.
Okay.
Let's do Friday the 13th first. Do Friday the 13th, and then we'll backtrack.
All right. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Do Friday the 13th, and then we'll backtrack.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, Part 6, Jason Lives. I love Jason Lives. After Part 5, this was a much welcome or very welcome return to the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't exactly a return, but it was getting there. It was getting there, and I actually loved that. That the movie. I loved a lot about this movie. It had a little bit of comedy in it, but not too much. Jason was basically a Frankenstein. He was a zombie in this movie, so that was kind of how that all started. He was resurrected in this film by a bolt of lightning. So it's one of my favorite Friday the 13th films, behind Part 4 and Part 1, and but it's a great Friday the 13th entry.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely got them back on track, like you said. I know this was the first one and the only one in the series that has no nudity in it whatsoever, and they were actually so afraid they were going to get a PG-13 rating in this. They went back and redid some stuff to put more gore in it to make sure it was R, because it was really tight in the line of being PG-13. It got really close. It almost happened.
And I'm going to show my age. And I'm going to say that I loved seeing Ron Palillo from Welcome Back, Kotter in the beginning.
Welcome back.
He's another one that I wish that we would have brought into the convention before he passed away. But
yeah,
he had a great character in this movie. He wanted no part of this. He kept telling Tommy that Tommy was crazy. So, and I totally agree.
Yeah. I think some interesting trivia which I put on there is that C.J. Graham wasn't originally cast as Jason in this either. It was Dan Bradley who actually filmed some stuff, and then they said they didn't like him and they recast him as C.J. Graham. So he was the actual original Jason.
I remember hearing something about that. I don't know the whole story, but it's a good movie, and I love Tommy Jarvis, played by Tom Matthews, in this movie. I thought that was great to see him play grown-up Tommy. So, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun one. It's definitely a better return than 5. 5 kind of went off the deep rail. They had to bring him back, so.
Yeah, Ron Palillo, I want to say he passed away in like 2008 or 9.
2012.
2012, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what happened and why he passed away or anything, but I was kind of sad to hear that. Welcome Back, Kotter was something that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything about it, just go check it out. I'm not going to talk about Welcome Back, Kotter on this show.
Yeah. All right. Guess we could let's bump back to one.
Yes.
So July 25th, 86, guys. We had Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
Okay. Let me get something out of the bag here. Sorry, go ahead.
Generally, it's considered a failure in a lot of aspects. I think Stephen King thought he knew what he was doing, and he was. This definitely had to have been the height of him on cocaine.
I have to say that the idea of Maximum Overdrive was cool. The movie itself is fun. Stephen King is a horrible director. Now, I'm going to throw that out there. He is a phenomenal writer, but he's a horrible director. And he's even said he never directed again. He said he never would. He vowed to never direct again. And I was just, maybe now that he's off cocaine, maybe that'll help him. But can you imagine this movie imagine this movie directed by John Carpenter? How awesome this movie would have been.
Oh yeah. Well, then they released Trucks years later, and that's not a great movie either. So.
Oh God, Trucks! It was made for TV, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was, but it was based on Maximum Overdrive was based on the short story Trucks, and so
TV movie '97.
yeah, and so I don't know, but
I mean. The plot is so outlandish, it makes it fun. It's like there's a meteorite, and it made all the cars come alive, all the electronics. It's like what?
And then you got the whole soundtrack is basically AC/DC, which was probably the best thing to come out of that movie was the soundtrack.
That was the whole score was AC/DC. That was it. There was nothing else in there.
Stephen King had to be sitting around going, you know what, Big Rail.
You know what we gotta do?
AC/DC to do the soundtrack.
I gotta have Hell's Bells. Look, Todd Seeley's onto you. He says how serious King was in the trailer. He says, "I'm gonna scare the hell out of you."
Oh, he's already got that. Where's it at?
Todd Seeley.
So I downloaded this clip.
We have to play it. And he's so serious.
Yeah, I don't have the full thing, but this was the most memorable thing I know about this movie. So we're gonna play that. It's real short. The clip that I have, it's much longer, the original version, but here we go.
Do it.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
Why is he cross-eyed? He's
so coked out. Every now and then his eyes go cross-eyed. I'm not making fun of him because I know he does have a vision thing.
I'm not making fun of him either, but I'm pretty sure he's coked out of his mind there. It's not that he was cross-eyed. His eyes were like this. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you, Lord. Jesus Christ. We can't do it. I'm sorry. The movie is fun to watch, but it could have been better. I'm just saying.
Man, just Stephen King cross-eyed pointing at you and go, I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And then you see the movie and you go, no,
I'm not scared. I think that clip of Stephen King needs to be played in front of every horror movie trailer that ever comes out again. It's just Stephen King going, I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
and then he doesn't.
He doesn't scare anymore. Hey, Richard gave us another super sticker. Richard! Oh, I love Richard.
I love you, Richard. Thank you, buddy.
I love you, Richard. Oh, I can't. I'm going to laugh. And I mean, it's a fun movie, especially if you're really, really drunk. Put that on. You'll have a great time. It's just, why is the Green Goblin in it? I don't know. It's a Spider-Man movie.
I never could understand that either. I think one word explains that whole movie, and it's cocaine. That's got to be
cocaine. Do you think he was like, we need the Green Goblin right now? Get him.
It has
son of a bitch. What about Spider-Man? Maybe we could bring Spider-Man in. He'll save the day.
Oh my God.
God. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. We need to.
I really
we need to recreate that for like a promo clip for our show, which both of us going. We're gonna scare the hell out of you.
With a big green goblin head behind us.
Yeah, the whole time. Okay, well, I can't no more. I'm gonna die.
You're killing me.
Hey, what's next? You're killing me, Smalls. I don't know what to tell you.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
I tell you what. So I was a kid when this movie came out, and I'm a Stephen King fan already. I didn't know anything about Fangoria magazine, but I remember going to the grocery store with my mom, and there was Fangoria number 50 something on this shelf, and it had that Green Goblin head on the cover, and I saw that it was Stephen King, so I bought that magazine, and so that got me into Fangoria. It got me deeper into horror, you know. So I do have to thank Stephen King for making Maximum Overdrive, just for getting me, you know, to buy Fangoria and be into Fangoria and get deeper into horror and discover so many amazing things about horror. But that's about it.
Mercer, can someone do a deep fake of the scenes with Charles's head instead of the Green Goblin? Yes, please do that. I hold myself like that. The whole thing.
With your eye crossed when I look.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. Play it again, Lloyd. Play it one more time.
Okay, all right, here we go.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
Is that a threat, Stephen King? Are you threatening us? Because it didn't work. I saw this movie like when I was 12, and it didn't scare me.
Oh my God. David's right. We got two new sayings, hot mayonnaise, and I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. You kind of have to stick with that nerdy Stephen King voice.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. I pulled an original trailer for this, but I don't even think we need to watch it anymore. It's we got it all right there.
Yeah, everybody knows. I mean, we can play it, but you can go and watch it if you want. I mean,
it's good.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna move on now. I think you're next, right, Charles?
I don't know. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you if that's the case.
Hey, scare the hell out of me.
So 86 brought a lot of my favorites, and this is another one of my all-time favorites right here. August 15th, 86. David Cronenberg's The Fly. Another one of the creepiest damn movies ever made. That movie
fantastic.
Scares the shit out of me. Brundlefly with his teeth falling out. I watched this when I was like way too young. I think I was like 6 or 7. And I was like, what's going on with his teeth? What the hell?
You know what? It's a great movie. I was very familiar with The Fly when that came out, the original, and a big fan of it because the ending of that movie is super creepy. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the ending of the original is super creepy, where you know Vincent Price smashes the fly and it's going, "Help me, help me,
help me."
I mean, it's kind of sick. I mean, we've made fun of that over the years, you know, but
yeah,
that is a creepy ending, man. It really is, and to hear that Cronenberg was remaking The Fly, man, I ran out and saw that, I think, opening day when it first came out.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is, it's, I don't know, it ended up winning, it won an Academy Award for Best Makeup, and I can tell you why, because that is some damn good makeup in that. I mean.
Chris Wallace, right?
Yeah, that's Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace and his company, they made Brundlefly, and Chris Wallace also did, was it Gremlins, right? Did he do the effects in Gremlins? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But boy, that is some. Yeah, there's another quad for you. The Fly is coming.
And that's iconic line in the movie too. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Be very afraid. That's another person I hope to meet someday. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Goldblum. But
he was
fantastic
in that movie. You totally bought it. Everything about his role, you believed it. Good stuff, man.
And kind of interesting tidbit, the producer for that movie was, and it's not, I don't think it's credited a lot of places, but Mel Brooks is actually a producer for that movie, and he never wanted anybody to know. Like, he should. I mean, it's a great movie.
It was under Brooks Film. when it came out. So I don't know how big of a secret it was, but man, I think he ought to be proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting, and it's kind of funny because Jeff Goldblum wasn't the first pick. They actually wanted Michael Keaton in that movie. Michael Keaton turned it down.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I don't know if Michael Keaton could have pulled that off, not like Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, the arm wrestling thing. That's what I remember in my head as a kid, just the arm wrestling scene.
Oh, that's just super cringe inducing.
Yeah.
GGC Productions brought up a name that I haven't thought of in years. Bobby Wygant. My God, Greg.
My God.
I haven't thought about Bobby Wygant. She was a local Dallas film reviewer. And I haven't thought about her in forever, but yeah, that it is a super scary movie. I mean, it's scary, it's creepy, it was a groundbreaking film.
And that just shows that's Cronenberg, in the 80s doing his body horror stuff, and that was at his best. I mean, that was so good. He makes an appearance in it too as the gynecologist, which is really funny.
Yeah. And then there was a cut scene. He delivers in a dream sequence. He delivers the fly pupa, in the
larva,
maggot larva stage. And then there was a cut scene at the end where he delivered a butterfly. And I don't know if that's ever appeared on any special features or anything, but I've read about that for years, where she gave birth to a butterfly.
I mean, that movie just creeps me out.
Yep.
Again, I mean, it has a great score because Howard Shore scored it. He did all of Cronenberg's movies. He won three Oscars for Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I mean, he went on to do a bunch of crap, but he's a great composer.
Yeah.
A lot of these movies in the 80s, I mean, I talk a lot about the scores, but really the scores made a lot of these movies. They're really added to them,
Yeah.
Great time for scores.
The score for The Fly gave it kind of that epic grand scale too,
A lot going on.
Yep. All right. Well, next up is a movie with a little bit of a lighter subject. We've got August 22nd, 1986 was Night of the Creeps, directed by Fred Decker. Had Jason Lively, Steve Marshall, and Jill Whitlow in it. And Jason Lively was a guest at our show. I think the third show we ever did, if I'm not mistaken. Jason's a cool guy, man. He played Rusty in European Vacation. This is another favorite of mine where the comedy really worked really well. And it didn't make it, didn't come off cheesy or corny. I love the flashback scenes in that movie where they go back to the 50s. There's something very, very genuine about Night of the Creeps, and I love it.
Yeah. Everybody's saying thrill me. You know what? I say thrill me a lot from this movie. I think I say it like once a day. I'm always like, thrill me. Do it. It's a great line.
Good news is your dates are here. Bad news is they're dead.
They're dead. This movie was like the perfect mixture of like 50 sci-fi with like a zombie comedy film. It was just so great. I mean, it was, Fred Decker, Fred Decker is great. Of course, he went on to do Monster Squad, which kind of overshadowed some of the other stuff he did, but he really was fun. He contributed a lot to House too, which we talked about earlier. He did some of the story ideas for that. Really is a fun guy. I mean, really.
Great flick. What do we have? Do we have a poster, or what do we have for that? Let's see.
I think we got a poster because I love the poster art in that.
Good stuff, man. Good poster.
Yeah, another quad poster. Just simple, but it's a nice drawing. It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Less is good.
Less is good.
All right.
I believe you're up next.
This is an obscure one. You guys may not know they made a sequel to this, but August 22nd, 86, there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Second movie from Tobe Hooper on our list here. TCM 2. What a great movie.
This is another movie that I hated when I first saw it in the theater. And it took a long time for it to grow on me, but boy, did it grow on me. Now you can go back and watch Chainsaw 2 and really appreciate what Toby was doing in that movie.
Yeah.
The dark comedy is so fantastic.
Yeah,
And
so much.
So much. And he there was a little bit of that in the first Chainsaw. But this was much more in your face, and it was fantastic. And probably right up there with one of my favorites of all time, Chainsaw 2.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was different than the first one. Yeah, it was a little more lighthearted. It was a little more funny, but it worked out so well. And my God, Dennis Hopper is fantastic in that movie. It's just so he's so bonkers.
He's great in it.
He's sort of like a crazy person, like I'm just like, what the hell?
I know, and then we're introduced to Bill Moseley as Chop Top, and my God, what an amazing performance! Get that whole bitch Leatherface. I mean,
with his was it clothes hanger just
scratching on his head, and everything about that character, it just blows my mind. I mean, Bill nailed it. It was fantastic. And then you had Jim, I guess you say Saito, from the original. He came back, and he's fantastic. I mean, he's just hilarious in that movie.
You have Savini effects in it, of course.
The Savini effects were amazing. Ahead of their time.
I guess it's the second Tobe Hooper movie. I guess I could tell a Tobe Hooper story, right?
Yeah,
do a Tobe Hooper story.
We love Tobe Hooper stories.
Got a lot of Tobe Hooper stories. I guess one of them, Tobe Hooper was an interesting person. Let's just say that. I spent some time with Tobe. One time he did Frightmare. We went to dinner. Lloyd knows this story, but after dinner, we were in the car, and he was like, "Man, Charles," and we were already driving. He was like, "Charles, I went to the bathroom before I left, and somebody threw up everywhere in that stall." He goes, "There was blood and like puke." He's like, wait, stop the car." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Stop the car. You got to turn around. You got to go see this." I was like, I want to turn around, go back. He goes, "Turn around. You got to go back. You got to see this." So I drove back around, went there. And when we got there, his girlfriend was with him, was like, "Well, I want to see too." So I had to take his girlfriend in there, and we had to go look at this vomit-filled bathroom stall. And we got out. He's like, Did you see it? It looked like something out of one of my movies. It was crazy." I was like,
God,
what?
He is a Texan through and through, though, man. I mean, that guy is a true Texan. That's Texan kind of stuff right there, you know. He's hilarious. He was a hilarious guy.
It was bonkers. I'm gonna tell you. I remember we had dinner with him too. I remember in the Chainsaw Cast, which is cool.
You know, what was the name of that restaurant? Was that Saltgrass? I think it was Saltgrass.
I think it was Saltgrass.
So the story behind all of this, guys, is that we had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre screening at the movie studio in was that the Dallas one, or was it Irving?
Studio Movie Grill in Dallas. It was.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering, but most of these guys, they've all seen the movies 100 million times. So most of the time they don't want to sit and watch the movie. So they all wanted to go out to eat. So they did a little introduction, and then we piled all the Chainsaw people in our cars and drove them to Saltgrass. And we all sat around this table with who all was there? We had Marilyn,
Toby,
Carolyn Williams. Who else was with us?
Was Gunner was with us, wasn't he?
No, Gunner wasn't there.
No, yeah, that was later.
Well, that's another funny thing. Toby never wanted to be around Gunner.
Yeah,
for some reason.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm not gonna get into rumors because I just have no idea why. Because he just didn't want to be around Gunner. So
I think Ed Neal was there too. Ed Neal was there.
No, I remember Ed wasn't there, but I know there were
more
people. God, it seems like there were more people, but there
was a lot of people there.
It was a fun night. It was a blast, man. And Toby he rode around in my car at one point, and I just remember him sitting in the back seat telling stories about stuff, Hollywood stories, and he was fantastic. So I love your story, though. You have a lot of stories. You spent a lot more stories. I mean, spent a lot more time with Toby.
I was lucky enough to spend like a lot of time over 3 days with Toby Hooper. And he was crazy every second of it. Let's just say that.
He was. All right. Next up, September 10th, 1986. This is Lamberto Bava directing Demons 2.
Demons 2.
I haven't seen Demons 2 in forever. And so I'm going to let you take the lead on Demons 2.
Well, I mean, Demons 2 is it's a fun movie. It's kind of like, it's not a direct sequel to Demons. It's basically they're trapped like in an apartment building, and it's kind of the same sort of story, you know. Bobby Knight comes back, but not playing the same character, a different character. Another one produced by Argento. Another one that Argento and Franco Ferrini and Bava did the screenplay for. I like it a lot. I mean, it's got Asia Argento in it. It's like her first movie. She was like 9 or 10. It's a fun movie. I mean, I think it's up there with like the first one. I mean, it's crazy like the first one. They play well together. I mean, it's fun. Another one that's not super easy to get, but there is a Blu-ray out. Arrow actually brought it out like 8 years ago too. It's even harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those Italian films that if you like Bava and you like Italian flicks, you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good flick. It's just been forever. It's one that I need to go back and revisit. What do we got on that one? Do we have a poster? Let me look.
Yeah, I think we had a poster, just a basic poster for it. Real similar to the first one. I mean, the poster is really similar, almost the same.
Yeah.
Nightmare Returns. I mean, Demons had a good reception, so of course we were going to get Demons 2 because, you know, back then Bava and Argento could just crank them out, you know, and they were all at least enjoyable. They were all fun to watch. So, yeah, Bobby Rhodes came back. Not the same character, but he's in it again.
Yes, there was a sequel. Yes.
Yeah, there was a sequel, and yeah, I mean there was technically a Demons 3, you could sort of say too.
Yeah, they started just making movies and calling them Demons movies. Wasn't that the church? Demons 3 was really.
Yeah, it was Demonia 3 or something. It was directed by Umberto Lenzi. The third one was. It was like 90 or 91. It had just taken the name pretty much. They were just like, we can just call it this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right. You're next. You got a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. September 24th, 86, guys. We got Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer with Michael Rooker and Tom Towles. Two guys at their best in this movie. They're so good. Well, I guess Michael Rooker's still at his best. He's still a great actor.
Yeah.
Tom Towles, we unfortunately lost a few years back.
Fantastic movie. I think the whole movie has lost a little bit for me though, because in the beginning we were you know, it was supposed to be based on Henry Lee Lucas, but now we're finding out that the real Henry was kind of a liar, and he lied about a lot of the stuff that he did. So
yeah.
You know, this movie may or may not be based on real events.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good, but you know, a fantastic performance from Michael Rooker though. That movie put him on the map as a great actor.
It did. Super low budget movie too. I mean, it was made for like $100,000. They shot it on 16 millimeter, which 16 millimeter at the time means you were super budget friendly. Nobody was shooting on 16 millimeter then. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a fun movie. I mean, this is like it's scary because this is like real life. I mean, this is like kind of one of there wasn't a lot of movies at the time going to like real horror, and this is one of the ones that really grabbed people. Like really, just the stuff he does in that, it's just relentless.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah, the director really didn't do much. John McNaughton, He did a movie in the mid-90s called Mad Dog and Glory with Bill Murray that's pretty good, but other than that, he didn't really do a whole lot. I know Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, is streaming on Prime, so if you guys want to check it out, it's on Prime. I'd recommend it. It played a lot of festivals, didn't get a big release because it was really rated X at the time, like a porn movie again. I've always liked it a lot, though. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's low budget, but the low budget works because you don't want, for these kind of movies, it makes it feel more real when it's low budget. You know, the crisp of the 16mm gives it that feeling that you're watching something you're not supposed to. So it's a lot of fun. One of my favorites.
Yeah, super brutal film. It is brutal, and it's not for the squeamish.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Excuse me. So next up, this is one that I saw in the theater and was thoroughly disappointed in.
I had to add it on here.
Yeah, October 10th, 1986. Wes Craven's Deadly Friend. Holy moly!
Lloyd, you're my deadly friend, Lloyd.
This movie was really bad, and I don't know. I mean, I never read the book that it was based on, but I heard the book was really good. But then he took it into a weird robot person thing. It's really bizarre.
It's a bizarre movie. I had to put it on here because it's not necessarily a good movie. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it because I can't really say not to watch it because it's an interesting story. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of really huge fans of this movie, so you may like it. I mean, there's a big cult following for this movie. I think it's entertaining, but it's not like fantastic.
But when back in 1986, when Wes Craven is awesome and all this stuff, and you run out to see this movie, and it's like, oh, okay.
You're like, I'm gonna go see Wes Craven's new movie.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
I'm so excited.
It's so bizarre, man. But I'm with you though. It is really bizarre. It was really bad. I remember thinking it was really bad at the time, but I can't discourage anybody from watching it either. It's a curiosity that you got to check out. Yeah,
and it's got Christy Swanson in it. She's super young. She's like 15 or 16. That's like one of her first roles, if not her first role. I mean,
Matt says playing basketball with Ann Ramsey. Speaking of Ann Ramsey, when I read Misery, that's who I always had in mind should have played Annie Wilkes, was Ann Ramsey.
It's Mama Fratelli. All we serve here is tongue. You boys like tongue? I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, if you guys don't know Deadly Friend, I mean, we're talking about it, but really, the synopsis is, after his friend is killed by her abusive father, the new kid in town attempts to save her by implanting robotic microchips in her brain. Here you go.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, okay, I think we can move on now. That's it.
All right.
I don't know where you get this movie at. I don't know if it's available on something.
It's out there. I've seen it out there.
Boyd's probably got 13 copies in his basement.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but.
All right. Where are we at?
You're up next.
Oh, Lord. October 14th, 86. George Pavlov's Rawhead Rex, Lloyd.
Yes.
Rawhead Rex. Rawhead Rex is the fun story of a nasty demon released from his underground prison by an unwitting farmer. Written by Clive Barker, who absolutely hated this movie.
Yeah. I read
Barker hated this.
Books of Blood short story, and I had already read this story before the movie was made. And man, is it a great short story. Fantastic. And the creature is actually a really great creature. It's like something I've never seen before. So when you'd read the story and then you'd seen the creature in Fangoria, you were like, oh my God, I got to go see this. And not so great. But it's not something I can tell like the other one. It's not as bad as Deadly Friend. But
that's Deadly Friend. But man,
I can't tell people not to watch it either.
The effects are bad.
Well, the creature will look great.
At one point, the effects are bad that you can see the rubber and the mask moving around.
But I think the creature design was great. Now, the way it was executed,
kind of. He kind of like a big piece of. He looks kind of like a big piece of meatloaf. That's kind of what he looks like.
Yeah, true.
I'm just saying, he looks like a big piece of meatloaf. I mean, that's the problem with it. Is it's just the budget was too low for the movie. And when you're watching that, and you see the latex crinkle, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
you're like, "Come on." But I think it's a fun movie. I put a trailer on here so people could see some of this because the trailer's hilarious.
All right, let's watch it.
Let's watch the trailer.
What I saw wasn't human.
Oh my God!
It was very tall. And what's more, it saw me. This thing.
Rawhead Rex.
His holy ten.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody, I thought the design of the creature was great, but then the face didn't move. There's all kinds of problems with it. But when you see pictures of that before the movie comes out,
you're like, yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You're like, I'm so ready for this. It's gonna be so good.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Do it. I'm so excited. Yeah, check it out though. I mean, it's a Barker. Barker did the screenplay. He wrote the story. He mainly hated it because of the creature execution. That was a big thing he said. Which I can get, but it's fun. It really grows on you. It's one of those fun, comical movies.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Do it.
And it came out. Where was that filmed? Ireland or Scotland?
Ireland, I think. Yeah.
Ireland, yeah. Good stuff.
So,
watch it.
You're next, Lloyd. You got a good one.
Okay, October 24th, 1986. Stuart Gordon directed a little film called From Beyond.
Oh my God, I love this movie.
It's a great movie. Dr. Pretorius, is that his name?
Dr. Pretorius. Humans are such easy prey. It's so creepy. And Barbara Crampton in this is like completely different than Barbara Crampton in Chopping Mall the same year. It's like she's like the polar opposite character.
Yep.
I'm gonna give away a copy of this on Blu-ray to somebody because I think everybody needs From Beyond in their life. Everybody needs this. Absolutely.
From Beyond is great, and it was a great follow-up to Reanimator.
Yeah. Written by the same guy. Dennis Paulo wrote it.
Also based on an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Yeah.
So it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen this, you've also beyond having Jeff Combs and Barbara Crampton, you've also got Ken Foree in this movie.
Yeah, you can see him in his nothing but his little tidy yellow shorts and his dong hanging kind of just the whole time. It's like, Jesus, Ken. There's one part where he's running around. He's like, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Jesus, Ken, put it away." Shaking everywhere, Ken. It's scary.
Yeah, the whole pineal glands.
Pineal glands
was very interesting to me as a kid. I thought, wow, that's so cool, But
This is another movie that just totally bombed too at the box office. It lost like millions of dollars and really kind of screwed up Stuart Gordon for a little while. But it was too much for the general public. This is not like a general public movie. I can see Mom and Pa Kettle sitting there like, "What going on, Barbara? What's he doing? I'm so scared."
Yeah, the world was definitely not ready for From Beyond.
It was way above its time, way ahead of its time.
You've got an Indian poster, it looks like.
Yeah, that's the Thai poster. That's one of the best posters. I've been looking for one of these for about 5 years, a real one. They're hard to find.
Oh, I bet.
I'm on a hunt for this. It's on my list.
It's cool for I got the video thing that was like 3D. It was like a square, and it had Dr. Pretorius on it, and you would put it in a light box, I guess, and the light would shine on it. But it was 3D, and I had that for years, and it finally fell apart, just because it's plastic,
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. What else I can say about it? It's a great movie. I mean, it's just creepy. It's great body horror, though.
It is.
Body horror age, the 80s.
The next one is one of my favorites of all time. I love this movie. I love this movie.
October 24th as well, 86. Trick or treat, guys. The power of 80s metal compels you. Do it.
I actually love this. To me, this was like, again, was like the male version of Carrie. Kind of like Evil Speak was. And I love this movie with Mark Price.
Yeah.
You had Tony Fields playing demonic, somehow reincarnated, dead heavy metal.
Sammy Kerr. Sammy Kerr.
Then you had
trailer for it in a second. I said we're going to show the trailer in a second for everybody.
Oh yeah, you had cameos from Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. How in the world they got both of those guys to be a part of this film, I'll never understand.
I'll never understand either, but they really were, and they were in there. I mean, it's a fun movie. This is another one that I watched a lot as a kid. And I want to say I watched this maybe 9 or 10 years old. I watched this too much. I probably watched this every 3 days. I don't know what my obsession was with this movie, but I watched it all the freaking time until the VHS tape I had it recorded on broke. I was like, no, I can't watch Trick or Treat.
Yep. I did too. I'm guilty of the same thing. And not only am I guilty of watching the movie over and over, I had the soundtrack on cassette tape by a metal band called Fastway. They actually had a metal band do the soundtrack, and I listened to that over and over and over again. I think I've got the CD now, and I think I even bought a digital copy at one point because it really is a great metal soundtrack.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and play the trailer.
Yeah.
It's body time!
Rock and roll will never die. At least not this Halloween. Sammy Kerr. He's a rock and roll nightmare.
I am a big fan of yours. I've got all your records. Shut up! You're the Bay, and Bay is you. This message is meant for me.
How can you listen to this stuff?
Shut it off! Shut it off!
What have you done to your stereo?
I wanted a new one.
Sammy Kerr. His fans won't let him die. He won't let them live.
You should be loyal to your hero. Make it turn on you.
Trick or treat.
Rock and roll!
really is it's a good soundtrack, man.
For a sweet surprise.
Sorry.
It's a trick or treat.
You know,
Apologize for the inconvenience there. I got it under control.
it is a fun movie, and criminally, it came out at the beginning of the DVD craze on a budget DVD, and it's very hard to find now. I know it got some overseas Blu-ray releases. I have no idea why it never got released on Blu-ray here in the U.S. Who knows? It could be a music rights issue or something. I'll never know, but it is a fun movie. It really is.
You know, I remember when this came out in DVD, I remember there was copies of it, I think at Dollar General, really cheap.
Yeah.
And they were like super duper expensive if you want one. It's like hard to find. Like they were like $2. Now they're like $60 on DVD or something. It's crazy.
You got a challenge from Richard. If Charles dances on top of the table, I tip 20. Who else is gonna tip? Who else will tip if Charles?
Is anybody else gonna tap?
I think we could get him to do it for tips. Y'all come up with some ideas and let us know. We see a bunch of tips all of a sudden, we'll both dance.
Yeah, give us some tips and we'll both get up and dance. Tip us. I'll put back on the soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Put back on some Sammy Kerr.
But you're right. That movie, like I said, and like you said, it was a budget disc. It came out and you could, it was like a $4 DVD or something, and
yeah.
It is so hard you can't find it anymore. You might be able to find something from the overseas, but I think I have a digital copy. Let's just say it that way, and it's an HD digital copy.
Yeah,
and it's a great movie. Go out and find it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how hard it was to find until I started looking because I wanted to. I remembered it was cheap. It's been a long time since I looked for it. I was like, oh, I'm going to pick up like 5 or 6 copies and just give them away to everybody. And they're like, no, they don't exist anymore, Charles. I'm like, why? Like, what the hell are all these copies of this damn movie?
Everybody's
talking about
criminal.
tipping. Look,
it's
we don't see no
criminal.
money.
You can't find it.
People talk about tipping. I'm like, we don't see no money yet, so there's no dancing until we see the money.
Exactly. We'll do it. We're not scared. You tip us. We're dancing.
I'll give you guys.
Charles will lift his shirt up too. Show you his boobs. Next up, this is a movie I've never seen. October 31st, 1986. I've never seen this movie. It's weird that you brought it up because I was thinking about this movie last night and I couldn't think of the name of it.
Link.
It's Link.
It's Link. Fake A, the killer orangutan. That's what it is.
I always get that movie mixed up with the killer baboon movie, Shockma.
Shockma. I mean, this movie's like, it's basically a deadly orangutan. And the movie's kind of out there, but it's worth it for its like weird moments. So there's like one scene an orangutan picks up a car and like throws it off the cliff. It's like fantastic scenes like that. It's a lot of fun though. It's a weird movie.
I've always wanted to see this movie, so I'm going to go search this one out. This is something that's high on my list now because it's always something I wanted to see, but for some reason I always get it mixed up with Shockma, and I never can, remember what it is. So I'm in. This had Elizabeth Shue and Terrence Stamp.
Yeah.
Wasn't Terrence Stamp the bad guy in Superman 2? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Yeah, he was General Zod. Yeah, he was General Zod. Kneel before Zod, Lloyd.
Kneel before Zod.
Kneel before Zod. Yeah. It's actually a pretty fun movie. I liked Link a lot. I watched it probably last year, and it's fun. I mean, it's a weird story, but it's kind of fun. I mean, there's a lot going on in this movie. It's realistic fun,
Yeah.
Do it, watch it.
I'm looking it up. There's I guess you can rent it on Amazon for like $3.99. Am I right?
I'd recommend renting it. It's a good rental. I don't know if I would devote a purchase to it because I don't know if there's actually a really good copy out there, but definitely rent it. It's worth a rent.
Oh, you know what? It's not. I'm looking at the wrong movie. There's nowhere to rent this movie right now.
Oh.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Well, we're going to find it, though, because I know there was a Blu-ray that was brought out for it.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a Blu-ray of it.
I have to check that out.
But anyway, yeah, it was directed by Richard Franklin, who did Psycho 2. He's a pretty good director. Didn't do a lot though, but you know, what you gotta do. It's fun. I'd recommend Link. Find it, do it, live it, learn it. Orangutans throwing cars off cliffs. Boom, done.
There's the first tip. Richard Nettleton, $20. He tipped. Let's see those sexy dance moves. Let's see how many more tips we get.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Then I'll put on the fast way, and me and Lloyd will dance for you. All right? We got to get some more tips. We're tipping for horror movies here, guys. Come on.
Next up, this is an interesting one. Go ahead.
And I went back and forth putting this one on the list because it's a weird movie. It's really not 100% horror, but it's a gory, weird movie. It's November 30th, 86, Gothic with Julian Sands and Natasha Richardson. So this is it's kind of hard to explain. It's a complex story. It's a weird story. We'll say that. It's got the feeling of sort of like a Cronenberg-esque movie, kind of a Fincher-esque movie. It's kind of like it's kind of like the Shelleys, it's kind of like a telling of like Mary Shelley writing like Bride of Frankenstein. It's kind of like that. It's based in the 1800s. I'm gonna say it's not the easiest watch. It's a really good movie. It's a really beautiful movie. It's kind of long. It keeps going for a little bit, but Julian Sands is great in it.
It is a Ken Russell movie through and through.
Yeah.
So if you liked The Devils with Oliver Reed, Altered States, there's another movie that I'm trying to think of that he did with Anthony Perkins. What is the Anthony Perkins movie that he did? I'll think of it in a minute, or somebody will tell me what it is. But great stuff. I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful film. It's really is well made. Yeah, I mean he did a lot of his movies are definitely his movies. He also did Lair of the White Worm in '88, which is another fantastic movie. I think I put that on my body horror list. Is it body horror? Put it on my list.
Did you?
Yeah. It's a fun movie. Yeah, he's a great director. I recommend checking this one out. Lots of fun. Yeah, early Julian Sands, who's also a fun guest we've had a couple times.
He is. He's a really great guest, and but this movie is something that I really like a lot. It's weird. It's a mind bender. I don't know. I think they were all on drugs in the movie. I mean, not for real, but I think that's what it was all about.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. That's why I kind of went back and forth a little bit because it's technically a horror film, but it's kind of not 100%, in a traditional sense. It's really, it takes some attention. You can't watch this movie while doing other stuff. You have to watch this movie and watch it closely. So I'd recommend it. It's fun.
Yes, we're talking Gothic. We absolutely are. It's a crazy movie. So I want to thank, I see that we got a tip from Meredith. So thank you for that. Thank you for the tip, Meredith.
Yeah, Richard's been a tip machine. I think we're going to have to dance for Richard, though.
We're going to dance for him. All tips go to making the dance even crazier.
Yeah.
So
right now we're at we'll see.
Yeah, we're kind of a, so-so, but the more tips we get, the crazier it's going to get.
We're kind of like Care Bears right now, guys. So.
Anyway, thank you.
Last one. This has been a long show, guys, and I'm sorry, but 86 is a hard year.
It's a long show, but here we go. This is the last movie on the list.
Last.
And then we've got a few honorable mentions. But before we get to those, we can't forget this was kind of a groundbreaking film, in my opinion, directed by Kevin Tenney, came out December 31st, 1986. Witchboard.
Witchboard. Love Witchboard.
Yeah, it had Tawny Katane in it. This was a direct-to-video release, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken. It might have.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Huge hit, though. They had a huge hit.
Briefly shown.
Yeah. Great film. I think it was kind of a groundbreaker in several different ways. And Kevin Tenney is a great director. So what else can we say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. It's kind of a weird release because it technically had like a couple of screenings, and then it had like a really small release, and the small release on video got some acknowledgement. So they went on and actually did a wide release in mid-'87, and then back to VHS. So it's like it went like this. It went like that the whole time. So yeah. I mean, Kevin Tenney is great. Lots of good stuff. So Witchboard. Fun.
Recommended. Witchboard if you can.
Witchboard it.
So honorable mentions. First up is Troma's Class of Nukem High.
Yeah. Honorable mention.
Next, you go, Charlie.
We got Psycho 3, which is still a decent Psycho flick, but not good enough to make it on the list, guys. I'm sorry.
Definitely not. Next, we've got a low-budget anthology called Dead Time Stories.
Then we got 86's Neon Maniacs, which is a pretty fun movie, but not maybe another year it would have made on the list, but not this year.
Yep. Then we've got a little slasher flick called Slaughter High.
Yeah, which is also another pretty good one that probably would have made it any other year, but didn't.
Too many bigger ones.
Yeah. Another one. This one's one of my favorites. I really wanted to put on the list, but didn't make it. Nomads, which is directed by John McTiernan and has Pierce Brosnan in it. It's more of a mystery horror thriller. I like this movie, but didn't make it on the list.
Nope.
Oh my God, we got some tips, Lloyd. Crap.
Uh-oh. We do? Let me see.
We got almost $50 in tips now for dancing.
Let's dance. This is going to get crazy.
All right.
Charles. All right, you gotta wait for us to finish our list. Next up, honorable mention is Spookies. Man, it's a crime. I've never seen Spookies.
Spookies is all right. It's nothing to rave about, but it's fun the first time.
Vinegar Syndrome just put that out not too long ago, I think.
Not too long ago. Last one is 86's Troll, which a lot of people love Troll. It's not, not the best. I have to put one on here that I put on the list 4 times, took it off, and then completely took it off the list, which not 100% horror, and it's probably better than most of the movies made this year, and that was Little Shop of Horrors, came out in 86. So Little Shop of Horrors is a fantastic film, but not enough of a horror to make it on our list for this show. Let's do that.
You know what time it is, don't you, Charles?
We gotta dance. What do you want to? You want me to put back on?
Time, baby.
You want me to put back on the Ragman?
We gotta say thank you to Stephen Burt.
Oh, we got more tips. Stephen.
Yep. Stephen Burt. Michelle. T West.
You guys are amazing support.
Of course, Richard Nettleton, he kicked this all off.
All right, guys.
What are we gonna dance to, Charlie? Oh, you put it at the end.
All right.
The way it should. Baby, you'll see.
Come on, Lloyd. You gotta get up, Lloyd.
Rock and roll, rocking on midnight, steal your soul. Rock and roll, rocking on midnight, take control. Knock, knock, knocking for voice of me.
Where did Charles go? He disappeared. What happened, Charles? You got your mask.
Rock and roll, rockin' on midnight, steal your soul. Rock and roll, rockin' on midnight, take control. So let's rock, 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 rock,
rock,
rock,
rock.
I'm tired now. Here we go. I'll show some leg. Oh, there.
I told you guys we would do anything for tips, and I think we just did.
Hey, I'm gonna make legs down dance.
Get it, Charles. Go, Charles. Go, Charles. Go, Charles. Stephanie said, "Why is this happening?"
That's my wife, guys. You should be watching this, babe. This is private time. I didn't do it.
Rachel, you scared the hell out of me. Hot mayonnaise.
We're gonna scare the hell out of you.
We scared the hell out of y'all.
Did
Well,
you?
This was a little bit of a longer show, but I think it was worth it.
Could you say you got the boogans?
Oh, did anybody get the boogans?
Josette says I went to get things ready for bed, and what the hell happened?
You missed out. We were dancing for tips, Josette.
Dancing for tips. We're like
We'll
dirty.
do anything for tips, y'all. Y'all, thank y'all so much. That's pretty awesome. Thank y'all for helping us out and tipping. We will do it though. We will do it. Michelle says that was totally worth it. I think y'all got a little booty. I hope y'all saw my booty when I shook it, because I don't shake my booty that much.
We shook it hard. I'm gonna give away a copy of From Beyond to the first person who can tell me who did the score for the film Gothic. Go.
Richard gave us another $2 and said that was anticlimactic.
Woo! Make you sizzle.
Hey, our viewership went up during all of that.
People do it.
They were probably like, Martha, come look at the screen and what them boys are doing now.
These white boys are dancing. The white boy got moves. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, and just so you guys know, Anticlimactic used to be my stripper name. So on the left stage, it's Anticlimactic. Watch out. He gets
greenbacks and the T-backs. Anticlimactic.
Oh, first, who got it first?
All right. Thomas Dolby, Travis Brown.
Travis won.
I missed the question, Charles.
I actually did the score to Gothic, and it was Thomas Dolby, and it's a great score that does not belong in that movie. It's a very weird score for that movie.
I had no idea that Thomas Dolby, didn't he do She Blinded Me with Science?
Yeah. Science! It's alive!
Yeah. I love it.
Blinded me with science. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So it looks like Travis got it first, though.
Yes, he did. You're our winner, Travis. Make sure that you message us on Facebook with your address, and we'll get your prize in the mail to you immediately.
We will get the prize, and I will dance on top of it first.
Ooh, lovely.
How about this? Does anybody want a copy of Jaws on Blu-ray? First person says I want Jaws. I can send you a copy of Jaws on Blu-ray too.
What?
Why not? I got a Jaws.
Charles.
I don't know. People like Jaws. We gotta watch Jaws. Why not? There you go. Any last words, Joe?
Any last words, Joe? I think you're new to the show. I don't think I've seen you comment before. So
Well, any last words, Joe? I'm gonna give you a copy of Jaws on Blu-ray.
Sweet.
Are you? Is that Twitch? Any last Joe? It's on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, any last words, Joe?
He can actually whisper to me on Twitch.
Okay. Do it with Loyd with your address.
Yeah.
And who was the other? Who we gave it to? Who Travis won, right?
Yes, Travis Brown. Oh, and any last words? Joe also says he does follow on Facebook, so you can message us there too.
All right. I'm gonna give a copy of Jaws. Any last word, Joe? Travis won. Blu-ray. And yeah, that's what I got today. I am Dance Machine. So we got a show Saturday for you guys. So join us Saturday. Who's coming on Saturday, Loyd?
We should announce that now, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up because I made a picture for that and everything. You know, somebody might already know who it is because it's actually been announced on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. Our Nightmare 4 and 5 trend here.
Yes, sir. So here it comes. This Saturday. Where did it go?
I don't know. I just work here.
All right, here it is. Danny Hassel joins us live on Frightmare HQ this Saturday, June 27th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
He's bringing the hamburger meat with him, guys. Don't worry.
So I'm looking forward to that. That ties back into our last guest. Super excited to have him on. Be good to talk to him again. He was a guest at the last show.
Yeah. And then Saturday night, we're going to have the one, the only Ingrid on here. And Ingrid's going to pick our movie of the week. Our Twitch movie of the week is Cabin in the Woods, a movie I absolutely love. Look forward to talking to Ingrid about her choice.
Yes.
Choices. And as you guys know, next Saturday is the 4th of July, so we will not be on that Saturday because it's a holiday. We'll be back on Wednesday for 1987.
We will take a break July 4th and let you guys get away from us for a little while and regain your sanity a little bit.
I know you guys are probably had enough of us with the dancing. Our next show is going to be one person. It's going to be Meredith. She's going to be like, hey, guys, it's me. So, yeah, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, go down and like and comment on YouTube. That helps us placements. We appreciate it, guys. And that's what I got today for everybody. So it was a fun year. It was a long year, guys. I know it was like a 2-hour show, but man, 86 is a great year. I could have went on. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, lots of great stuff. You did a great job putting this one together, Charles. Thank you so much for doing that. You've got a new video on YouTube that you just put up as well, don't you? Do you want to talk about that before we leave?
Yeah, so I started 2 different series. I'm doing the Horror 101, then I'm doing essential horror movies, which are maybe some more obscure movies you haven't seen. So The House with Laughing Windows is Poopy Avatific, and I really love it. It's a great movie. I think everybody should see. And I did a video on it, kind of short video. I've been trying to keep these videos to like under 3 minutes, make them kind of quick watches. So I'm going to start doing more of those as we go on.
Perfect. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. We had another super fun time. We love you. My name is Loyd Cryer. You've been watching Frightmare HQ, and I'm joined today with my buddy.
I am Carlos Blueberry.
Carlos Blueberry.
Blueberry.
Good night, everybody. And
bye, everybody.
And y'all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you Saturday. Bye-bye.
Sell your soul.